The Paid to Play Podcast. Tonja Davis, Action Hero Fitness. By PC Portal Pad, you're listening to Paid to Play. I'm Rob Farker, your host for this weekly exploration of the dangerous idea that bringing your whole self, especially the bits that you worry make you seem silly, geeky or odd, into your income-generating life is one of the best things you can do. It might not be easy, but it's easier than we think and even fear, and I want to show you how. In every odd-numbered episode of this weekly show, I chat with a career crazy, an income iconoclast, someone who has taken the things she loves to do, recognised that other people value the products or skills of her play, and then stood by that value and asked for and received financial reward. My guest today, Tonja Davis, is a geek at heart. Now, you would tend to think that we geeks tend to be a little bit sedentary. We spend way too much time sitting in front of our screens or poring over our books or sitting around tables rolling odd-shaped dice. And so you wouldn't perhaps think that being a geek and being a fitness expert would be a natural marriage. But Tonja has found a fantastic way to unify her two interests. She loves Final Fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, the movies Nightmare Before Christmas and The Princess Bride, but she's also a certified personal trainer, a group fitness instructor, and a level 1 precision nutrition coach. And she has a unique understanding of the struggles of trying to get fit while struggling with chronic illness and injuries. Tonja, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Rob. It's a pleasure.
So, I do like to start every now and again with a little bit of a geek out. I understand you've just been playing the Final Fantasy XIV this morning?
I have been. My brother contacted me. He's actually working for Multi-Worlds Media, which is the company that's trying to bring the spiritual successor to, City of Heroes, which was put down a couple of years ago. So there's a couple of companies trying to build a spiritual successor. And he says, I keep hearing you talk about Final Fantasy. I want to see what they're doing right to make sure that we can do it right too when we bring out City of Titans. And so, anytime you get somebody who's new to your fandom, you want them to love it as much as you do. I broke my character down to level 1 and I said, all right, come on, let's go, let's play. And you've got a little healer and a little archer running around town having a grand old time. It was great.
Oh, absolutely. But I imagine it must be a particular fun having a brother who is in the video game industry. I mean, that must give you a bit of perspective into the workings of making a game that you wouldn't otherwise have.
It does. It gives me a great deal. Also, I was in technology for a while before I started my own business, so he actually brought me on to be their QA tester, or one of them. So I've already they've learned the challenges of trying to put together a game when they gave me their documentation. I went, here's all the stuff you're missing. Come on.
Well, fantastic. Well, speaking of sort of making games, from what I understand, Action Hero Fitness, your business, is kind of a personal training and fitness gamified in a way. Would that be right?
It is. So I have to say it is, but I do keep some things for the Mondays. For the mundane folks who may not get the danger room in Pier 9.
The muggles, if you will, if that wasn't maybe quite the target fiction, but still.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Perfect way to describe them. We do crazy stuff. We do Spider-Man crawls and Iron Man jumps and Batman cape swings and all sorts of stuff. One of my classes is actually called Danger Room. Yes, after the X-Men. And it's just a blast. If you can't have fun doing it, you're not gonna do it. So I had to figure out something that was fun. And we call these exercises all these crazy names, but if you go look them up, you're going to see that none of them are anything groundbreaking. They're just fun names on exercises that people have been doing forever.
I'm suddenly thinking a little bit of pro wrestling, where every wrestler sort of has a signature move that's pretty much named after them, but really it's just perhaps a standard wrestling move done at the right time and with the right amount of personality.
Oh, absolutely. And every single one of my clients, my personal training clients, happens to have a superhero name. And I joke with them. They always have one exercise, and it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to have an exercise that you absolutely hate. Every time it comes up, you hate it. So that becomes your signature exercise. And it never fails. They always end up naming it something, but it's like, you know what? That's okay.
So how did Action Hero Fitness start? Where did you go from just, being a geek to being a fitness geek?
Ooh, well, it started actually as a hobby, as a side job. I decided that I wanted to get myself healthy. I am a chronic acute asthmatic. I have 3 fused vertebrae. I have a bad knee from where it was shattered into 3 pieces.
Ooh.
I broke my wrist and arm in 13 places. So if there is something you can break, I have probably broken it. And I was really messed up health-wise. Every October I couldn't leave my house because my asthma got so bad walking outside I'd have an asthma attack.
Oh, bloody heck.
Yeah, and I decided I didn't want to live like that anymore. But none of the videos really told me how to move my body in a way that things I could do, because I was 250 pounds.
Yeah. And I guess in terms of videos, I mean, we're talking the standard fitness tapes and DVDs and things like that you get from the shops and also online stuff, or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we're talking about. And none of them met my needs. They were all too advanced for me. I was very disappointed in what I could do. And I always walked away feeling dissatisfied and feeling frustrated. So I finally started doing research, and it's like, okay, what can I do if I have this? What is my ability? A good one is squats. Everybody knows what a squat is, and they're just like, you put that big old bar on your back and you come down and you just lift those weights. A lot of people don't realize sitting down in a chair and standing up, that's a squat. And that's where I had to start. I had to have a chair, and when they said, give me 10 squats, I sat down and I stood up without using my hands 10 times. And that's if you're not fit, if you're a little bit larger, if you have breathing problems, that's a challenge. But that's where I was.
Yeah.
So I started there, and I started seeing success, and I started seeing what I could do, and then gradually I advanced the exercises, and pretty soon I could keep up with the videos. But my friends and family started saying that I was seeing results, and they started asking me to help them. And I didn't want to give bad advice, and I didn't want to hurt people. So I decided, well, if I'm going to help them, I might as well go out and get certified. And so I did. I went out, I went to school. There was actually a school out there where you go hands-on, and you learn everything you need to learn, and it was crazy intense, but it was awesome, and I love it. And so I got certified in personal training, and then got certified in group exercise, and then I got laid off from the day job.
Oh, joy.
And that was I can either go back into technology or I can go have some fun.
So, out of just sheer curiosity, what was the day job at the time?
I worked for Wizards of the Coast.
Oh. What a... I mean, the immediate reaction is bloody heck for a geek. What a horrid job to be laid off from, you know? But, so yeah, and if you can talk about it, what were you at, what position did you hold at Wizards of the Coast?
I was what was the official title? It was essentially an assistant manager of one of their technology teams. And we worked on, I started out working on Magic the Gathering Online, and from there wasn't a digital product that they released that I didn't work on, including Xbox Live, the Duels of the Planeswalkers.
Yes.
My team was the one who launched that, and if you look, my name should still be in the credits on that. And same with Magic the Gathering Online. And then I moved, when I was laid off, I had been moved to their website, and we were in the process of starting their new account process. So it was a blast. I worked with some of the best, brightest, and most amazing geeks you will ever get to work with.
But sadly enough, as seems to happen in big business nowadays, one day they basically turned around and said, unfortunately, we don't have a need for your position anymore.
Yeah, that's what happened. And so I went off and felt sorry for myself for a month and then said, I can either go back into technology or I can try to make a living at doing fitness. And I chose fitness. And it's been a blast ever since.
It sounds like you've, when you discovered fitness, you never perhaps had that moment where you thought, what, me? Be a personal trainer? You must be joking. Or at least, you never thought, why the heck would I want to do that for a living for?
Well, surprisingly enough, no. And I think this might come a little bit from the D&D thing. And I say that because if you've ever played in the Greyhawk world, which is one of the realms that I played D&D in, it's what they call a low magic world. So there's not tons of money and high magic items floating around. It's actually not uncommon for the party to come up against a bad guy and literally loot everything this guy has just to try to get money. So when it came to actually starting to train people, anybody who wasn't a family member or a friend, it's like, sure, I can do this, but I have to pay for insurance, just liability insurance. And so I'm going to charge you too. And the only thing I didn't do is I didn't charge them $70 a session, which is what they would have gotten at one of the big gyms. And most people didn't even balk.
No, I was just thinking, it's almost one of the surprising things when you start setting a rate for yourself. You sort of, you pick a figure and you think, oh, crikey, that's, I don't know about setting that. I think I'm being a bit cheeky there. And they just basically go, they say, fantastic, great, here's my money. When do we start?
And it really is that. There's that level of being confident enough to say, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to charge you for this. And when it became my day job, when it became what I did for a living, my rates went up. And I sent a letter to the clients that I had previously and said, look, I'm traveling to your house. That's going to cost, because I don't teach in a gym and I didn't ask my clients to come to me. I traveled to them. And so there's drive time and gas and wear and tear on the car, and all of that becomes part of the cost. And they never, as long as I have always been upfront with them and say, hey, look, the rates are changing. These are the things I now have to consider. They have never once balked. And I've got some clients that have been with me since almost the inception of my company.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really blessed. They stuck with me through thick and thin.
Ah, that is wonderful. I've got to admit, right at the moment, I'm kind of envious because I'm yet to build the thing that I do that has a consistent client base like that. So that is wonderful to hear.
It's possible. It takes, I'm finding that I'm pretty good at it because I enjoy systemizing things. So if it's something I don't like to do, I want to make it as automated as possible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to think about it. I just want it to go, or I want to be able to push a button and realize it's taken care of. And I don't know how many business owners do that. Take the things that they don't like and say, okay, how can I make sure that this takes as little time as possible so I don't have to think about it?
I hope a lot of them realize it, but sometimes, unless you are, of course, keeping on top of things already, if you're not doing some sort of systematizing or systemizing early on in the piece, it's one of those things that sort of lurks in the back of your head that you occasionally think, oh yeah, I need to make sure I do that. And then when you sit down and keep doing the day-to-day, you just busy yourself with all the busy stuff without and forget to take that step back and review what you're doing and say, okay, I'm doing this a lot. How can I do it more quickly and more efficiently, just so I can get it out, spend less time on doing it? I like fiddling with systems myself. I mean, I've been an armchair fan of role-playing games for years. It's just I've never really played all that much. So I love rules and I love little systems, how to get it done. But half the time when I think about doing things like this and managing the podcast, yes, there are quite a few things that I could be doing perhaps quite a bit more efficiently than I do. I just keep forgetting to sit down and put the time in and review them, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is one of those, to relate it back to one of the books that everybody is told to read if they're going to do any type of managing, or the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the stories that Stephen Covey tells in there is of a young man who's trying to saw a tree with a dull saw. And someone says, well, why don't you take time to sharpen the saw? Well, I can't take time to sharpen the saw, he says, because I have to cut down the tree. And that's your systems. Your systems, or lack thereof, is that dull saw. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time right now to sit down and just deal with your system and figure out your system of what's in place. But once you get it in place, that tree's going to fall a lot faster. So it's realizing and prioritizing getting that system done as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I have, for instance, when it comes to creating my workouts, each of my workouts for my personal training clients are completely personalized to my clients. However, I have a template. I have a template with basic exercises on there. And then after I do their assessment, and once I figure out where their strengths and their movement imbalances are, all I do is swap a word or two on the template to make sure that the exercise is at an appropriate level for them, that'll keep them challenged but not make them feel like failures. I've got maybe 24 templates based on the goals of the client, and at any time, I can fill that template out and have a 3-month plan for them.
Right.
And it's because I don't want to have to spend the 3 hours every single time I take on a new client to completely rewrite that.
Yeah.
So it's yes, it does take time, but it's so valuable because then you can spend time doing what you enjoy. Like for me, it's working, actually interacting with people. It's kind of funny to say that since most of my business nowadays is completely virtual. Most of my clients I see online. Most of my trainings, even my group classes, are online. But that's what I enjoy. I enjoy actually interacting with the people and not worrying about, what, oh my gosh, now I've got to spend this time. So I highly recommend that anything that's that thorn in your side, make a system out of it.
Yeah. Now, one thing that you've really got me interested in, when you think fitness and personal training, you think of gyms, or you think of playing fields, or or parks or grassy areas, and people in shorts and lycra at all hours of the morning, out doing exercise in boot camps. So, but you mentioned that you nowadays do most of your business via the web. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be surprised how many people don't want to go to gyms because they're intimidated. When I get thinner, I'll go to the gym. Or when I get healthier, I'll go to the gym. And they walk in, there's this impression that you have to look a certain way, because if you don't look a certain way, then, people are talking behind your back or whatnot. There's all of this perception, and I wish I could say it's not true. But having been on the other side and part of some personal training groups, I've heard derogatory terms like New Year's babies, Easter lilies. Oh, that's fine. When the New Year's babies go away, we'll finally get our equipment back. That's rude. But so there's that perception of gyms, but there's also a good number of the clientele I work with. I work with cancer patients.
Yeah.
So you have the immunocompromised who can't go to gyms for various reasons. So, I have all of these, what the fitness world calls special populations.
Yeah.
Which is anyone who's not 18 to 45 and has ever had an illness or a broken bone, or is not within the BMI range of like 18 to 25. If you don't fit that definition, you're a special population. And trainers are not trained to work with you.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, you actually, most certifications, you have to take a special certification just to work with anybody that doesn't fit that demographic.
Right.
The bonus is I've been that demographic, so I've worked with myself for a while. But these are the people that want to get healthy, but they're intimidated. So by using Skype or Google Hangouts or various online products or online networking things like that, I have my studio in my house. It's one of my spare rooms. And so we just connect there. As a matter of fact, I just had a client, my first client with an Xbox One. Oh my gosh, I would love. The Kinect and the Xbox One are brilliant for online training.
Right.
Because I can watch, it moves with you, so I can watch exactly where your form is. I can see your line. And you're normally watching it on a large enough TV. I mean, if you're on an Xbox, you're not going to be on like a 20 or 24-inch screen. You're going to be on a bigger TV. So if I say, hey, watch me, I'll demonstrate it for you. You can put your weights down or, sit down for a second and watch me while I show you and I tell you exactly what you're supposed to feel and where I want you to feel it.
Right.
So it's like having one of those workout videos, but the instructor can see you. And the instructor is making corrections that are valuable to you at that moment.
Tonja, will you excuse me for one moment? I just heard one of my dogs bark, so I think I better go see what it's up to. Hopefully this won't be long. Thank you.
No problem.
I don't know what our old boy wanted, but it didn't seem to be a toilet break right then, so he's just...
That's fine.
Do you have any pets yourself?
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. And yeah, I actually had to close the studio door because if I didn't, yes. I knew they'd be in here trying to figure out how to get underfoot.
Yes, no, I'd have mine in here as well, but sometimes they sit and pant, and unfortunately that gets on the microphone. And anyway, so let's see. You were talking about the wonder that is the Xbox One. and how it basically helps you with your business. Now, can you actually take us through a little bit of what the day-to-day of running Action Hero Fitness is like? I know that some people tend to put getting paid to do what they love to do up on a bit of a pedestal, where they think that from that point on everything is sunshine and roses and life is pure joy because you're doing what you love to do. And I think perhaps they get a little bit discouraged when they encounter the actual reality and realize that even when you are doing what you love, it is not necessarily all perfection from that point onwards. So what does running and operating Action Hero Fitness involve?
Oh gosh, I wish I could send you a copy of my calendar. You'd laugh. It literally does change day to day. But let's just a general on a day that I have a new client. My day starts at 4:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I have to take the dogs out by 5. I'll have my first client session by 6 or 6:30. I have to get my own workout in first thing in the morning. And that means by about 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm finally sitting down to work in and on my business. And if you really want to start a business, that's something you need to learn the terms and what they mean. Working in your business means that you're doing the day-to-day tasks that need to get done. Working on your business means that you are doing things so that you can eventually step out of the day-to-day. Okay, so they're very different concepts, and it's very important that you do them. I mean, obviously you have to do them both when you first start. So, I'll do workout development, back-end paperwork, writing blog posts, planning social media, business planning for myself for the next month of, what my goals are, where I'm supposed to go, who I'm supposed to contact, what am I supposed to do there. I have a couple of days a week, I have a meeting with a mastermind group. I cannot recommend enough, if you're going to go into business, find other people who want to go into business as well, just so that you can bounce ideas off each other. Because sometimes you get too close and you don't see where you're tripping up. And that's where a mastermind group comes in handy, even if it's just fellow business owners who want to move on. Mm-hmm. I'll take a couple of other clients, or I'll have my intake depending on what's going on for that day. I have one in-person client that I actually walk to. She lives a mile away. I walk to her 3 times a week, and her session, and the last 3 hours of my day are leading group exercise classes. And on the weekend, I'm actually learning the routines for the 3 classes I'm teaching on the weekend. So it's a lot of work. You are working from 9 to 5, but the sooner you can get, and that's why working on your business, that's the systemization and getting all of the stuff set up and automated so that you don't have to do it anymore. That's going to free you to have time to do what you love. As a matter of fact, I've systemized so much of Action Hero Fitness, I've gotten to the point where a couple of apps have said, hey, come be a coach for us. And I went, okay. So now there's a couple of apps, one of them on the iPhone, that it's just all I did was put my workouts in there and my nutrition planning so that when I get new clients, I can just apply them and tweak them how I need to. And all I do is shoot them a message once or twice a day and say, hey, good job. And they ask me questions, and it's like texting a friend. But I've got tons of free time. And it's really awesome. And it's allowed me to open up 2 more lines of business. So not only do I have now the automated or the app line through those applications who have said, hey, come work with us, but I also do business coaching and I help other people get their businesses going. And bring their fitness businesses online because people saw I was doing it and they asked me for my help. So the more you can work on your business and clear yourself up, the more you're going to have time to live that life that you really want to live. And I really can't recommend it enough, but it means doing those things that you don't like so much, like automating stuff.
No, of course. So one thing that I do want to make sure I do have clear, from the sounds of it, and I think it's fairly obvious from what you've been telling me for the past little while, you are what I like to call a Venkman. You have, per that lovely speech that he gave, Ray Stantz, on the steps of the New York University, you have gone completely into business for yourself. You don't have any side gigs, or you're not sort of juggling this with a day job or another work line, are you?
No. I actually, when I got laid off, I sat down and talked to my family, and luckily I was laid off with about 6 months severance. And I said, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to do it, and this is the time frame I have to do it in. If I don't have it done in this time, then I've got no choice but to go back into technology. And my family looked at me and said, go, play.
Oh, fantastic.
And so I did.
No, that is absolutely marvellous. So, you've done it, you've achieved the dream, and from the sounds of it, you're certainly maintaining it. You are fully getting paid to play.
I really am. I'm getting paid to play, and I'm now taking that and teaching other people how to do it. And really, what more can you ask for?
Yeah.
It's an absolute blast.
Well, speaking of teaching other people how to do it, with every chat episode, I ask my guests the same question towards the end. And I think you maybe have already answered it in part with talking about automating and working on your business as well as in it. But if there were 3 things that you think that would help someone who is just starting out or perhaps struggling with getting paid to play themselves, perhaps even 3 things that you wish someone had told you when you were getting started out, looking back, what would those 3 things be?
Automate the trivial tasks. Don't jump at the first thing you see. And the gurus are not always right. I think I've spent more money and more time spinning my wheels trying to follow somebody else's system when that system didn't work for me because it didn't feel right.
No.
I was told that Action Hero Fitness wouldn't go anywhere because people don't understand it. People don't understand the fandom and the geek side. So I did a banal thing before I did that. You know what? Take the advice, and if it doesn't fit you, pitch it. If it does fit you, or if you can find a way to make it work for you, then use it. But the gurus are not always right.
So, after having listened to this episode, Tonja, where can people who would be interested in finding out more about Action Hero Fitness and quite probably engaging your services as well, where can they go to find out a bit more?
The website is actionherofitnessinc.com, and everything is on there. Everything from an intro to all of the classes I offer and all of the trainings. And I actually do have a free Facebook group as well, so there is a way to request to join that Facebook group. We have all sorts of fitness challenges and fandom chats and everything like that on there.
Well, Tonja Davis of Action Hero Fitness, thank you once again for your time and coming on the show. It's been fantastic chatting with you.
Thank you, Rob.
I license the interview and monologue content of the Paid to Play podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 3.0 unported license. That roughly means you can sample, remix and redistribute it as long as you tell people that the bits of it you use came from Rob Farker and don't charge anyone for your work. For the full legal text, go to creativecommons.org. The theme music is written, performed by, copyright and used with the kind permission of Miracle of Sound. All rights reserved. For more great music inspired by geek culture, check out miracleofsound.net. This podcast is hosted by Business Web Integrations. Get in touch with them at businesswebintegrations.com.au to discuss your web hosting and business needs.